This is a series on C for embedded systems. In this video, let's look at structures in C programming. So all this while, we have seen some of the data types like integer, character, float, and double, right? So these are some of the basic data types that comes with the compiler. So these are default data types. But in C, we have a data type called structure, which is a user-defined data type that allows you to group together variables of different data types under a single name. So what it means is that in C, you have the ability to define your own data type called user data type of type structure. Okay, and within that structure, you can have variables of different data types under a single name. So each variable within a structure is called a member or a field. Structures provide a way to organize and represent complex data in more meaningful and coherent manner. For example, you want to represent a data a set of data like an employee, right? So the employee will contains the name. So we'll have is employee ID. For example, whatever is salary and all such information. Say, for example, employee name is a string and employee ID will be an integer and salary will be an integer or double, for example. So all this can be grouped and represented as one more data structure, so one more data type, and you can name the data type however the way you want and use this set of data within a structure to work with your program. So that's the basic use of why we need a structure or user defined type called a structure. So well, how do you define a structure? So syntax is pretty simple. You have to use the keyword struct and then the structure name. So open the braces and you give member 1 with the data type and member 1. The second member you can define as data type 2 and a member 2 and so on. You can have any number of members. You have member n and the data type n and the member n. So this is how, and you have to close the braces. Most importantly, you have to terminate the structure definition with the semicolon. This is very, very important. So let's break down this syntax of this structure. As I said, struct is a keyword, so it indicates the beginning of the structure definition. So this is basically to indicate the compiler that I'm defining a structure. And you have a structure name. This is the name of the structure. So this name is used to declare variables of this structure type later in the program. So the name using the name you can define a, a variable or declare a variable. Then members inside the structure you define members each with its own data type as we saw before. Members represent the individual attributes or fields of the structure. So as I said, a name in the previous example of a type employee, you have name and then the employee ID and for example the salaries. These are the fields, the attributes of the structure employee, right? So that's the understanding. So once we define the structures, how do you access these uh, elements? So that is been done by using the dot operator. So we use dot operator to access members of a structure. The syntax is basically you have a structure variable, then you have a dot operator, and then you mention the member. That is how we will access the structure member. So let's understand all of this in with an example. So well, you have a program called structure.c. So in this, I have included stdio.h to basically print whatever the data that we want to print. Now, the first thing is we have to define a structure, right? So what we're trying to do is we want to define a structure with the name person. So for that, I have to, for that, we have to use the struct is the keyword in C, which indicates that I am declaring, uh, I'm defining a structure. You have a structure, then the name is a person. So you open the curly braces, then character, then array, name with say the size 50, so it's a character array, and then you have an int, that's the age of that person, the float, the height of the person. And if you close the brackets and then end with the semicolon. So this is how we define the structure. And how once we define the structure, that means we have defined our own data type called structure, which can store or which has a members of different types or character in float in this case, and this will be used in the main. Now once we have defined the structure, let's declare a variable of type structure of a person. So for that, again we need to use the structure struct keyword, then a name of the structure, then the person one. This is person one is the variable name. Then let's access and modify the members of a structure. So you can see that a printer enter the name, and using scanf you can take the person one dot name. The name is of type character array. That is why we mm, we scan it or we take input from the uh, terminal. Next we print and enter the age, then we take the age, then we take the input, the height. So you can see that in order to access the elements of the structure or a variable person, so we see person one dot, it's the dot operator, and then we use the member variable or the member element. Okay, now let's try to execute, let's compile this. GCC structure.c, and let's execute a.exe. You can see that it asks to enter name. I'll enter my name, Irish. Now I'll enter my age, let's say 34, and the height in meters. I am 1.62. Well, so now we have uh, entered. So now you can see that it printed the details of the person with name, age, and height. Or you can, the way we did it is basically we print the name with person dot name. That means the name of that person is accessed via the dot operator. Similarly, with age and similarly the height. And we exit the main function. So this is a very basic use of the structure. So in this program, we have learned declare a variable. Oh, sorry. define the structure, declare a variable of type structure, and then modify the members, also print those members or access those members. So that's the main idea of this program. So, well, what we have seen is in the program is the structure definition, the struct, the person, and then these elements, and we open the brace here, we close the brace, and then end with the semicolon. This is the structure. And the structure variable declaration, for that we basically have to struct, you issue a keyword struct, and then person is the type of our user defined variable or a data type called person, and then person1 is the variable. This is the variable, and you end with a semicolon. This is the declaration of the variable. And accessing and modifying, we have you accessed and modified the variables using the dot operator. So dot operator, this is important. Well, we have printed the display the structured information as we saw in the example. So well, this example demonstrated how structures in C allows you to create a custom data type called a struct person to represent a person's information with multiple attributes like the name, age, and height. Structures are particularly useful when dealing with entities that have various properties, making the code more organized and readable. So that's how we do it. So we pack different attributes of uh, of a type and club them together to define our own user type, and we we basically use it to ease or organize or read or create a program which is more readable and maintainable. Well, this is just the beginning of structures. So structure have so much to do with C program. This is the fundamentals of structures. Well, we will see more of such content on structures in later videos. Uh, Thanks for watching.
Subscribe to the channel for more projects, courses, tutorials, and tools.